Okay, every single time you scroll, tap, or swipe on your phone, a vast, unseen machinery springs to life right beneath your fingertips. Today, in this explainer, we're going to be mapping out the invisible pipeline that actively turns your everyday screen habits into a multi-billion-dollar shadow economy.
Here is our roadmap for today. We'll start by looking at how apps are literally designed for addiction, uncover the invisible tracking layer, go deep inside the data brokerage industry, look at the limits of privacy laws like GDPR, and finally discuss how we might actually fix this system. Let's get right into it.
Section 1. Design for Addiction: The Psychology of Engagement.
To really understand digital surveillance, we first have to ask, why can't we look away in the first place? Well, product designers rely heavily on what's called the hook model. It's a behavioral cycle made up of 4 steps: triggers, frictionless actions, variable rewards, and finally, your personal investment. Now, uncertainty, that is the secret sauce here. Because you never quite know what you're going to see, a new like, maybe a trending article, or a viral video, you just keep scrolling. You invest your time and effort, which perfectly sets you up for the next trigger. Your attention is literally the raw material of the modern digital economy.
And all of that, captured attention, fuels an economic system known as surveillance capitalism. The crucial thing to understand here is that your personal data isn't just a byproduct of using these apps, it is the core commodity. By relentlessly tracking your habits, these systems aren't just figuring out who you are today, they are actually creating markets for future behavior. They're predicting what you'll click on, what you'll buy, and even what you might believe tomorrow. Moving to Section 2, the invisible tracking layer. How addictive apps harvest your behavior. So there is a massive gulf between first-party tracking, which is data you willingly hand over to an app so it functions correctly, and third-party tracking. Beneath the surface of your favorite apps, external companies are silently siphoning off things like your device type, your usage times, and your location. They then combine this invisible data stream across multiple, completely unrelated apps to build a highly fine-grained profile of you, all in the background and usually without you ever knowing it. But how exactly are they pulling this off? Well, the main culprits are software development kits, or SDKs. Think of it like this: when an independent developer uses a free mapping tool or a crash reporting feature from a tech giant, the hidden cost is an SDK that essentially acts as a silent data vacuum. Combine those with tracking cookies, automated web scraping, public records, and incredibly advanced machine learning that instantly connects your smartphone activity to your smart TV, and you're caught in a highly pervasive web of data collection.
Section 3. Inside the Data Brokerage: The Shadow Data Economy.
$270 billion. That staggering number is the estimated 2024 valuation of the global data broker market. This is a massive shadow economy made up of thousands of companies you have likely never even heard of, and they are quietly fueling the digital advertising market, the insurance industry, and even highly sophisticated political campaigns. Just to help you grasp the sheer scale of this machinery, let's look at giant brokers like Axiom or Experian. They process up to 1.2 trillion records every single month. They compile up to 10,000 distinct behavioral and demographic traits per individual person. 10,000! That is a highly sophisticated, algorithmic reconstruction of your entire life, just packaged up and sold. And these profiles go way, way beyond just names and email addresses. We are talking about precise GPS data that reveals exactly where you sleep every night, and deep, incredibly detailed financial tracking. But perhaps the most alarming assets they sell are your inferred vulnerabilities. Through massive algorithmic analysis, data brokers can predict deeply private states of mind, maybe a recent breakup, a struggle with depression, or an addiction, all simply based on your scroll speed, what time of day you're awake, and tiny variations in your browsing habits. Entire populations are segmented into highly vulnerable categories and just sold to the highest bidder.
Section 4. The Limits of GDPR: The Regulatory Struggle.
Now, with all of this going on, you might be thinking, doesn't the European Union's GDPR protect us from this? Well, despite the strict standards implemented in 2018, the reality is pretty complicated. A massive study from the University of Oxford analyzed nearly 2 million Android apps from both before and after the GDPR was introduced. And what did they find? The actual presence of third-party trackers inside smartphone apps has barely budged. Tracking capabilities are still tightly held by a very small number of gatekeeper companies.
So why isn't the so-called gold standard of privacy law working? Well, first off, the industry immediately adapted. They rolled out deceptive consent banners specifically designed to cause information fatigue. They essentially overwhelm you until you give up and just click Accept All. Second, enforcement is totally bottlenecked by the one-stop shop rule, which creates massive backlogs. Throw in laws that completely fail to regulate hidden SDKs and companies intentionally hiding opt-out pages, and the whole system starts to look like an unwinnable maze. It ultimately relies on the illusion of privacy self-management, which is this mathematically impossible idea that any of us have the hundreds of hours required to read every single privacy policy we encounter.
Which brings us to Section 5, Fixing Surveillance Capitalism and Defending Your Digital Self.
It really is the ultimate question, isn't it? With this tracking pipeline so deeply entrenched, how do we actually regain control of our digital privacy? Experts widely agree there's no single silver bullet here. Meaningful change is going to require a dual approach, a top-down, systemic overhaul combined with bottom-up personal defense.
On a macro level, policy experts are proposing some really bold ideas. Things like heavily taxing digital ad revenues to literally disincentivize the business model, instituting outright bans on behavioral surveillance ads, and establishing a single global digital oversight authority. There are also growing calls to legally standardize reasonable inferences so algorithms can't discriminate against you based on your habits. But you absolutely do not have to wait for the law to catch up. On a micro level, you can start creating friction today. Use email aliases to protect your real inbox. Employ VPNs. Install robust tracker blockers. Be relentless about minimizing app permissions on your phone and actively opt out of data broker registries whenever you can. Every single roadblock you add makes extracting your data just a little bit less profitable for them.
As we wrap up this explainer, I want you to really think about this hidden pipeline we've uncovered today. From the psychological hooks that keep your eyes glued to the screen, to the hidden SDKs silently harvesting your location, all the way down to a $270 billion shadow economy trading on your inferred vulnerabilities. I want you to ask yourself this final question. Is the convenience of the modern digital world truly worth the invisible price of our privacy? Consider how you might navigate this digital landscape just a little bit differently going forward. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and remember to keep questioning the systems behind your screen.